Hey, good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody to Logan County Fiscal Court. It is 8:59, and want to give a little bit of a COVID report. And this is the Barren River report because sometimes everything don't match, so I'm going to try to stick with just the Barren River. Logan County, as of yesterday afternoon, we had 787 total cases. That was 30 new cases since Friday afternoon, and from this time last week, on Tuesday morning, there have been 74 new cases reported here in Logan County since a week ago. And we need to remember those people. I know that yesterday the governor came out with several new suggestions. I don't know how many of you got a chance to listen to them or not, but we talked about in a red county, which Logan County did show up red yesterday. They wanted employers to consider any kind of work that could be done from home. They recommended no in-person shopping, and I ain't got everything down that he recommended because I didn't have time to write it all. Order and takeout only in restaurants in red counties, and patronize businesses that are following the guidelines. And he also, if it's a big event, he wants people to consider canceling those big events. And there was a few other things, but I didn't have time to write them all down. They pulled it off the computer before I got to write it all down. So we need to remember that, and I'm asking every one of you to, it is our duty to demonstrate that we're trying to do the right thing as elected officials here in Logan County. And I know there's other people in our community that's hurting, and we need to remember them, the ones that's lost loved ones and the ones that are suffering. So with that, all that being said, Tyler, would you like to do our opening prayer this morning?
Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. And Lord, just be with our community, be with those who are sick, those that have lost loved ones, and continue to be with us in dealing with COVID, Lord, and just help this eradicate this virus, Lord, and let it go away, Lord. Just, a lot of people suffered, and just help us all stay safe, and be with those that are sick, and those that have lost loved ones, Lord, and be with our first responders and those that are on the front lines of also being a chance of being affected, Lord. And be with us this meeting today, and let us conduct county business as you see fit. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, let's call the meeting to order with the pledge to the American flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No, that's good.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Again, I'd like to welcome everybody that's here at the Logan County Fiscal Court and the people that's watching this morning. First item of business is the minutes from the previous meeting, of October 13th, 2020 meeting.
Judge, move to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and got a second by Tyler. Is there any questions? Okay, if not, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, next item of business is the bill list and the supplemental bill list.
Judge, I move to approve the bill and supplemental bill list as presented.
Okay, and just want to point out that a week of payments on there for last week's poll workers on supplemental bill list. Just want to point that out to everybody. Okay. Any other questions?
Who seconded it? I'm sorry.
Second. I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Okay, is there any questions then? Okay, if not, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, treasurer report, man.
Good morning. In your folders, you have a list of budget transfers that we need to get approved.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second on the budget transfers. Is there any questions?
This budget transfer is a transfer for the highway safety grant. It's a reimbursement grant, so we're putting the money in there up front, and as that's paid out, we'll get reimbursed by the state.
Okay, is there any other comments, questions? Not hearing any. Let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes.
Today, we need to transfer $85,000 from the occupational net profits tax fund to the jail fund.
So moved. Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second on the transfer. Any questions? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Budgeted? Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes.
And we need to transfer $75,000 from the occupational net profits tax fund to the 911 fund.
Was that the CAD system?
That's,
So that was
What that is, Barry, that's included a second payment on the CAD system. It was set up, I think, with 3 payments, if I'm not wrong about that. And it's installed now, and the next payment is small compared to the first 2.
And that's a majority of the transfers, just for that CAD system.
Yeah.
Most of that will be reimbursed. Yes, it is reimbursement, so we should be seeing that after we send in that claim form.
Okay, is there any other question? We had a motion and a second.
Who seconded it? I didn't hear anybody.
I thought Barry seconded.
Yeah, I thought it was
Did you?
Jason and Barry.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, no question, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes.
And that's all I have for you today.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, man. Road work request, Tyler.
District 1, continue maintenance. Everything looks good. Appreciate it, Paul.
District 3, continue maintenance all roads. On Thompson Chapel, there was a tile down there at the Lonnie shop that, and then somebody hit the telephone at the end of it again, I think, the last couple of nights, and they're out there marking it off like they're gonna move that telephone pedestal. I don't know if they need to look at it or not, but it's right at the end next to the old 431. Everything else is good. Continue maintenance. Thank you.
District 4, out on Iron Mountain Road, it's 5861 is the address for the tile. I got it down on here. Everything else looks good. Just continue maintenance.
District 5, everything's good. Thank you. District 6, continue maintenance. The only thing is actually in the city limits, Paul, but I don't know if you could ask the city, just right out 100 on the layout in front of my parents' property. That creek there is now, I guess, maintained by the city. And trees are growing up in it, and when you're pulling out of the second driveway there, you can't see oncoming traffic. I just noticed it the other day when I went down the driveway. I just, it's gonna take one of those boom things, and I know the one that the city has, it's no way it would reach to the other side of the, or to, to the center. There's trees growing up out of the center of it, and, I mean, you can't see, it's a curve right there in that driveway. Don't mind calling the city too, but I just thought maybe you have a relationship with the street department there, you could ask what could be done about that. Thanks for everything you did, it was great. Several compliments on the Lindsay Lane, the work y'all did on Lindsay Lane. I have several people out there really thanking y'all for that. It looks great.
Okay, y'all have heard the road work requests. Is there any questions? I know every one of you anxious to see some blacktop going down, and maybe that'll start soon. We was hoping, that it'd already be started, but the weather kind of held that up. Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and second on the road work request. Is there any question?
Hey, Paul, I forgot. Appreciate you getting them to patch that up. Looks like they went out there and patched it up on W.H. Brown. Yeah, appreciate that.
Okay, is that it?
That's it.
Let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Golden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, Scotty?
Good morning, Court.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just wanted to report to the court this morning, election seems to be going well. We're voting a lot of people. I think as of yesterday, we went over 6,000 mark on early voting, and so that's very, very good. The workers that are there are to greatly be commended. They've been there every day, and they've really showed up, and we greatly appreciate that, and I know you guys will too. Ask one thing. So the court is today, of course, and then we won't have another court meeting until the second Tuesday, which will be the 10th in November. So I'd just like to ask the court to give me and the judge and Amanda the authorization to work through getting the poll workers paid, because some of them, they might need their money before we get to the next court meeting and get that taken care of. So if we could have that motion, please, I'd greatly appreciate it. That would allow me and the judge and Amanda to transfer the money as needed to take care of the poll workers. We've got next week's payment. Of course, today's bill list will take care of last week. We've got this week's payment, and then we'll have election day for the 3 polls, which will be about 50 people. So it is budgeted, but just ask that you would allow us to work together and make that happen.
Do we need a motion?
Yes.
I'll make it for you.
Okay, the motion we made back in the primary was by Barry Wright and second by Robert Cowell to authorize payments to this would be the general election poll workers for each week that they work.
Yeah, we'll have one more early voting people that are over there. There's roughly 14 of them altogether, and then we'll have the election day, which will have everybody.
Yeah, well, election day will fall at the next court meeting.
Well, that'll be on the 10th, though, Judge. Can we not get that taken?
Well, that's just a week late.
Okay, that's fine.
We'll approve it at the 10th, and then they can get their checks on Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay, if that's okay with you.
Well, it's not okay with some of the poll workers, but I guess we'll have to make it work. I mean, some of them need their money and they want their money when they work.
So you're wanting it to be where they can get it the 4th, say?
Yeah, if there's any way possible, if we could work together. I mean, I could get the stuff to the judge and then we could work it out. It would make it, a lot better on them.
Is that an
If we
issue?
could have that option that we could work together, that would be great. And if it seems that we can't, good, then we'll just move to the court. But if there's a way we can, then I would appreciate to have that option, because I know some of the poll workers that are working, they need their money. So that's what they're working for.
Okay,
What was your motion? To do exactly what he
Yeah,
said?
Yeah, do just what he said, go on and authorize him to go ahead and pay him.
Go ahead and authorize payment after we get the time cards. Yeah.
Yep, I'll second that.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any questions? Okay, let's go ahead and have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes.
And I would just like to thank the court for being a good partner in this. I mean, this has all been unknown every day. The judge and I both, and everybody, the sheriff, and the jailer, we all have something that comes up daily that's just puts us all in the dark. And so we greatly appreciate you guys stepping up as magistrates and fiscal court and helping us get through this together. So thank y'all.
There was a lot of good comments on the early voting.
Yeah.
About being able to go vote early. I mean, there's a lot of people bragging on it.
Oh, yeah. And Saturdays too, they really would.
Yeah, on Saturday.
Well, in this particular election, and it looks like it's going to be a popular thing. This particular election, the state utilized and they passed down money to counties, the CARE money. If the legislation in the state of Kentucky, which they're going to be voting against a popular thing among people if they choose not to do it, the next election, they're going to be voting against what people want. If they choose, like I said, if they choose not to do it. But if they choose to do it, every dime will be on the county instead of getting that state money or national CARES money for an election. So that could be a mandated thing to counties without any support.
Was this election cheaper to run than the?
Probably won't be.
Several days of it.
Well, if you take the CARES money and maybe to the county, it might not be, I don't know. Maybe the county won't have.
But
as much
without the
money.
CARES money, it's going to be more expensive than prior years.
Yes, very well.
Okay.
But yeah, good job, smooth process.
Yeah.
We voted yesterday, nothing to complain about.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, and I just said that to kind of tell the fiscal court, you know, what to expect in the future. If it's mandated, it'll be on our dime. Okay, Steve, have you got anything other than one item of business?
Yeah, it's just, I'm not sure what to do. If we could re-advertise the ad for the vehicles. One of the vendors called wanting an update on his packet, and we never received it, and so come to find out there was an issue with it not being sent, so I didn't know if we could re-advertise or how to do that.
So he bid, we just didn't get it.
Yeah, he had some secretarial issues,
Okay.
and it didn't get mailed when he thought it got mailed, so he was wanting to bring it over. I told him I'm pretty sure we had to rebid that, so.
What was it?
On the vehicles, I had a vendor contact, he had thought he had mailed a packet to us, and come find out it didn't get mailed, so he was wanting to, I was wanting to know if we needed to re-advertise.
Oh, you talking about new vehicles?
Yes.
I thought you was talking about the sale. I think we'd have to re-advertise.
Yeah, I told him I thought we would, so I told him not to send the packet, so if we could just re-advertise that again.
Yeah.
Need a motion?
As long as the court knows it's going to happen, I think we're okay to re-advertise. Have you heard anything from anybody else, just that one?
Just that one. We'll send out information again, but situation we come across yesterday, and I talked to Tyler about it a little bit, I think, but we can't get brake pads for one of our vehicles till February of next year. Nobody in the state has the brake pads.
Wow. It's a shame we just surplused a bunch.
Well, it's on the brand new vehicle. So, yeah, that was my reaction too. But I called Tennessee, I talked to them, and the local parts store have looked, and Dodge dealers across the state.
What make and model is it?
2020 Dodge
Charger.
Durango.
Durango.
It's on the Durango. Yeah. I wasn't gonna tell, but we'll get that re-advertised then. That's
So
all I have.
when we advertised it the first time, do we have an expiration date of when you had to have it in?
We had a date that it needed to be in court.
Court,
Yeah,
So do we not need to do it again to have the next date established? Or
yeah,
no?
yeah, we'll need to advertise again.
Well, I know, do we need to approve that since it's going to be really a different, or you think it's okay just to change the
We
date?
can do a motion if you want to.
I don't know.
I looked at those, but I wasn't sure. I'm gonna check on those.
Joe?
Just curious.
Do you think?
Still matter. Okay.
You want to do it just way 100%, open up
I was,
So that vehicle be down?
well, that's what
Let it roll.
he's got a little pad left, but I don't want him to drive it because I don't want him to mess the rotors up, so, until we found
And you've got another canine vehicle?
Yeah, he's in one of the Explorers, and he's got a portable kennel that he's using. So, but I was gonna look at some of them offsites and
Yeah.
see if they might, he's gonna order a set, see if it matches.
What year model you say?
A 2020.
So, new motion or not?
Yeah.
No,
We need to be
Joe said
bidding
it's going
on
to be all
some
right.
of the brand.
Well, I thought that too, honestly, but I just want to kind of, I mean, this is just how COVID has affected so many things that you just don't realize. I guess you take for granted, that brake pads would be there, so. But I appreciate the ad.
Yep.
Okay, I think that's it on today on elected officials, department heads. Ginger, you got anything? No. Paul?
Real quick, I need to go ahead and get permission from the court to advertise small bridge on campground. It's been approved, but we just need to get permission to go ahead and put it out for bid.
Put that in the form of a motion to advertise for the bridge on Campground Road.
Second.
Okay, got a motion second. Question. We did get the signed agreement back. And so, before that, you couldn't put it out for bid. But they rushed it on back to us. So, if there was no questions, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Holden,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes.
And buying parts is problematic right now. I just think stuff that you would think, no problem, there is problems in the parts situation, but, and the judge and I have been talking about next year. Of course, you guys have already approved a couple of times for a small dump truck, but we haven't been able to find anything. And I'll probably have to come back later on when we look at the budget. And we're probably gonna have to do a couple of snowplow trucks. We're gonna try to make it through this winter.
Are you in need of a 1-ton truck?
Yeah. They're hard to find on the use, but
Yeah.
we'll probably just do 2 mules. And I think maybe we've been buying too light on truck. They're not lasting. We're looking at that 550 international or something. The Judge and I have been talking about it, but that's probably gonna be in next year's budget, because I don't think we're gonna try to slip anything in this year, because we don't have the money left after doing those 2 dump trucks. And we hate to do a used one on that, but we're gonna try to get through this winter, so. Mowing's about done. If anybody got any trouble spots, just let me know, but of course Pete's still using the sapling. It's doing pretty good. And we had a situation, it was broke down, had trouble getting parts for it, but we got it going. But it's just weird things, you wouldn't think that you could, like Steve was saying, you think, well, I get that all the time, and you order it, and you can't get it, so it's a little bit in the chain there, something's messed up.
Crazy times.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, Jason.
Just wanted to say, appreciate the truck, the 2017 2500 Silverado, purchased that. It's getting wired right now over at the road barn, and it seems like everything's gonna be okay. So I just wanted to let y'all know where that was, and when we put it to good use real soon. That's really all I had today, unless anybody else had anything.
Looks like you had some cleanup, that's good.
Yeah. Figure October's been pretty good, and I'll have a report next time, but it's been pretty good getting some groups to come and some community service. We're working, and this wasn't something I was gonna say, but we're working with the drug court. They're having some folks to come and help us with litter pickup. So we're kind of trying to get a program going there for some community service. Oh, yeah. Friday is the sale, too. Paul wanted me to mention that. It's what, 10 a.m., right?
Judge, what time is it?
10 o'clock.
So out at the Road Barn.
Good deal.
So I wanted to mention that for everybody, and got a lot of interesting stuff out there. I think it'll be neat for everybody. So this Friday at 10. Thank y'all.
Good deal, thank you.
Okay, judge's announcements for the day. Tyler, if you don't care, make sure everybody's got a copy of this while I'm doing the announcement.
The trick or treat deal?
This right here?
No, it's on our common ground meeting.
Oh,
We've had to change it since.
was that supposed to be in the packet?
Yeah, I don't think it is.
I don't see it. Oh, so you got it.
Yeah. Okay, registration for the KCO 2020 virtual conference is on October 28th through October 30th. Will be a free charge, be free of charge with up to 8 hours training and credit. That's the end of this week. The Logan County auction will be October the 30th at 10 a.m. at the road department. This is surplus auction. There's information in your folder for guidance for the celebration of Halloween that I mentioned in the last court meeting about, in case any of you are questioned, you'll at least have that guidance for that. And the Soldier Family Christmas, they came asking for me to tell every one of you that they're not going to be able to just take stuff to Fort Campbell this year on account of this COVID. And if any of you are willing to buy a $20 food card of any kind and either turn it in to either party, this is a joint party thing, a joint Republican or Democrat party, you could turn it in to either one of those headquarters for the Soldier Family Christmas, and I've already gave them a fairly decent donation toward that too. At the November 24th court meeting, I don't know how many of y'all attended that health department thing in the spring about the needle exchange, harm reduction. I know some of you was there. It's already passed the health board and the city of Russellville, and it's got to come to fiscal court, so we got that set up for November the 24th court meeting. And the reason for this, the reason the harm reduction is to cut down on HIV and hepatitis with that needle exchange. The health department has received a grant from United Way to start the program off somewhere close to $18,000. And so expect that on November the 24th in court. And then what I passed out at the Common Ground meeting, that's been changed to December the 8th at 4:30, and it's going to be at the CTC building, and that's the county technical school, and right off Bowling Green Road.
Will you repeat the thing about the KCO convention? I don't think I got the info on that.
I'm sorry.
The KCO, what was it this Friday?
conference.
Is it this
KCO
Friday?
conference
It's this Thursday and Friday.
and Saturday.
Huh.
And now through restoration, you can probably still, if you got any of the email from Keiko, you can probably rescue yourself, or maybe Janice can rescue you. I think they said yesterday that they had the meeting, Keiko meeting, that there was close to 600 people registered, and they hope that didn't blow the system. It's definitely been the biggest virtual conference of the year. Hopefully, by this time next year, we'll be talking about getting a better position on all this, and maybe everything will be back somewhat to normal by this time next year, but I wouldn't expect it too quick. Okay, citizen participation. We don't have any citizens here today. I don't know if any of you have got any emails or anything you want to talk about, or texts. Okay, if not, the first item of new business this morning is proposals to maintain and monitoring of the emergency and communication radio system. Come on there, Joe. Scotty, you or Steve want this common ground? Of course, y'all invited to it. Okay, for proposal for maintaining and monitoring the Logan County communication radio system. We've had two proposals come in. One of them from Wilson Communications. Okay, I'm going to pass this around and let everybody look at it. He's got to hear the length of the contract. 2 years, response time less than 4 hours, cost at $55,000 a year. Parts are not included in proposal. It's got tire site inspections. At all 3 sites, radio programming, software, firm upgrades, remotely monitoring the emergency communication system, fixing or maintain radio system and keep at 100% efficiency, give reports and updates to Logan County Fiscal Court. Fix or replace antenna at Reservoir Hill tire site, installing grounding hardware at Lewisburg tire site. High-speed internet needs to be at all 3 tire sites for remote monitoring. Future site added to available to address coverage issues in South Logan, and install and maintain backup radio system. I'm going to pass that around. Here's that.
I'm just going to take a picture. Bless you.
Okay, VEI, communications, maintenance and monitoring. We might need, Joe, can they make about 6 or 7 copies of that one sheet there so everybody can have a copy, please? It looked like we got a book here for everybody involved, so I'm going to pass these books out, and what we'll do, we'll look at them for a minute, and then we'll let each person come up and kind of talk about their proposal. Because I don't believe I can sit here and read a whole book this morning. I will tell you that I appreciate both of you turning in a proposal.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
That one's mine.
You leave yourself out.
Yeah.
Sure, Joe.
Thank you.
So the Z-Tron system basically still allows us to do analog with the digital, right?
That's just the consoles themselves, and dispatch the radios that the consoles connect to are actually the digital parts.
So we're not 100% digital.
Correct.
For some reason I didn't think. Some reason I thought we were, but yeah, okay.
The radio system part of itself.
Okay.
Judge, did you ask Joe if we could go into closed session with each vendor and just talk with them? Is that a possibility or not?
Yeah, I did talk to Joe. Joe, if you want to talk to him, but we feel like since it was a public bid open, that they didn't know whether that would, didn't think that would be allowable, and I don't really think it is either.
I know sometimes we have a committee go in and ask questions.
Yeah.
We don't really have a radio committee though.
And that was, what I'm talking about, the holdup, but we don't have a communication committee. Myself, and I can't.
Committee for purposes of reviewing this, and you could make it up of a couple of magistrates and Ginger and Steve, and they could meet with each of them so we could get the most information. I know one person I would recommend to be on it from the fiscal court. Sorry, Tyler. But that might be an option if you wanted to.
That would be, I think, only option, Barry. And I don't know anything.
Today, they're both here, so if we had any questions, we need to ask them today.
Yeah.
Understanding of it.
I guess I'm not necessarily sure what exactly the concerned information would be, because if we were going to rely on it, it would need to be a part of the public record. But if you had something that you were worried about that you wanted to ask me about, and we take a break, I would be fine about that. But since all of this stuff needs to be, I think, public for our reasoning, that's why I don't want us to go in closed session and have a lot of information that comes out that doesn't make it into the record. So if you had something specific you want to,
Hey, I don't mind asking it in open session, I just was,
I guess my thing would be if it's something that is going to impact choosing one or the other, it would seem that needs to be in the record for a while. You see what I mean?
Yeah. We definitely have two extreme apart options to me. I mean, it's like one extreme to the other. But,
We couldn't have more than two masters on it, and then maybe Steve and Ginger. And my knowledge of how a radio system is supposed to work is pretty slim. And I don't, is the only question I've got. I ain't got a problem appointing a committee to look at this. You know, I'm talking about to make a recommendation to the court. But I think that's about the only way we can do it.
I guess we could have up to 3, couldn't we, without a quorum?
Yeah, we could have up to 30.
I mean, I'm okay with that. I mean, I have several questions. I mean, I'm still trying to learn about the system myself. I went yesterday with Steve and Ginger, and we went and looked at most all the sites, and starting to get a better understanding of how it all comes together. But I definitely, you know, something as important as this, I try to learn as much about it as I can before I vote on, you know, spending that kind of money on something like that. So,
I say, Barry, you clearly have feelings or questions you want to have answered, so I would recommend you, and I would say Thomas, Mr. Kyle, or Jason, do any of you all have things that you feel strongly about getting answered before voting on it, that one of you would request to be on the committee, or just want the judge to pick one?
I don't have anything specific to ask that Tyler, Barry wouldn't already know to ask. They're a lot more informed about this subject matter than I.
I'd be in on it. I'd volunteer to be on it.
Okay, if the court wants to appoint a committee to, now, of course, general public hadn't heard anything about this yet, other than they know we opened the bids.
Judge, could we have, maybe just each representative on these proposals just to come up now and just maybe give us a 5 or 10?
I think with the public not knowing that, I think that's the proper thing to do right now.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then appoint a committee to, and if you three want to serve on a committee, because they could tell me that the water's wet and the sky is blue, and I still might not understand exactly what they're saying.
I would recommend too, just after we do that, give just a quick time for them to go in the room and ask any other questions.
Okay, with that being said, which one of y'all wants to come to the podium first?
Just come in order, we opened them, to be fair. Wilson's was open first.
Okay.
Would be my suggestion. I mean, hold it out of staff, so just let him come up and talk about what his proposal is. Anything that he might like to add to it further would be great.
I know that everybody on the court wants this thing working. You know what I'm talking about. It's the best we can get it to work, and we all realize that that a little money's going to have to be spent. With that being said, Mr. Wilson, we'll let you talk about your proposal.
Well, in response to my proposal is what y'all requested in the ad. And from what I gathered from it, it was just maintaining and fixing what's already there.
But you don't care, put your mask in, I can't do it.
He
I really did.
Oh, okay. He relives.
Do I need to repeat
Yes,
myself?
I can't hear, you go ahead now, yeah.
If you don't care, pull that mic over.
In response to my proposal was in response to the ad that y'all put out to fix and maintain what's already there. So, and the things that was in there was the things that I had found that was wrong with the system while I was out looking at it. There may be more wrong with it. We don't know till we get further in depth into it. And I brought to the judge's attention yesterday that the FCC license is set to expire in November 25th of 2020. And I had asked him if anybody had said anything or had gotten the ball rolling on renewing his license for that trunking system.
The trunking system as in the microwave between the
No, the whole system itself.
whole system itself?
Yeah. I believe it was, I think it's 48 frequencies on that one license. It's set to expire November 25th.
And you said it's taken care of, Ginger?
Like I said, I'm still trying to learn about the radio system. Can you give me just a brief topology of our radio system? As like, you know, when we got Lewisburg and we got Russellville and we got Auburn.
Right.
And how those come together and where it goes. So as far as
Well, it's
just real general, you don't have to be.
so it's a 3-site system, and from what I've looked at, they're connected together with microlinks,
Okay.
and
And so when they're connected together, is that like Ethernet? Is that like Ethernet technology? I know it's NXDT. Is that what it's called? The protocol
they're
NXDT?
using microlinks, which is a dish pointed at each of the towers to connect them.
Okay. So Lewisburg Tower points to Russellville, and Auburn points to Russellville, and then Russellville, how does it get to the EOC? Is it pointed as well? I'm just trying to learn.
As far as the sites being connected, it's through the microlinks.
Okay.
And then from the EOC to the Russellville Tower via radio.
Okay. I got you.
So if one of the microlinks goes out with that particular tower site, then it won't act as standalone. It's kind of like the whole system's on it. The connectivity of it, if it was internet, it would have them connected to the internet.
I got you. But if you think the microwave is part of our transmission problem at all?
I would say it was, part of it.
Okay.
It'd be more of a solid connection if it was wired.
Okay, so would you like at each site, so each site has internet connection as far as I understand, as far as I know.
Right.
So what would you like, have a VPN connection between each site going to Russellville?
Yeah, and is it fiber?
So it'd be fiber internet.
Right.
It's just an internet connection. There's not a point-to-point fiber, but.
Right. And looking at getting the remote monitoring part put in and installed, it would have to have the internet as well, so you can monitor each tower site.
Okay. So you just put a server in probably at Russellville that, and then it monitors each one. Okay. I know there's a server at in the Russellville Tower, but I don't know exactly what it is.
And I would also recommend that there would be at least one conventional backup repeater put at each site too, and not just rely off one in town, because if you needed to talk at Lewisburg and Auburn on the trucking system, you would also need to be able to talk on conventional backup as well with those coverage issues.
What kind of backup power source does each site have?
They have generators.
I believe it's generators.
Gas generators?
So we have diesel at Russellville, and there's also I'm assuming Lewisburg's backed up by the fire, the build, or they have
Battery.
just a battery backup, so probably 30 minutes, not even that? Okay. Wow. And now, in Auburn would be generator, I assume diesel
Yeah,
as well?
that'd be a generator.
So Lewisburg's the only one that don't have a generator.
Yeah, that needs to be addressed.
I thought it might be coming off the fire department being that close, because they had backup generator this one.
When the fire department, when that was the fire department, it was that way, now it's not fire department.
And as far as the Lewisburg, I know we're getting off the monitoring and maintenance of this, but only because I've read it in something else here, the Lewisburg site, you believe placement of those antennas are an issue? Or you think it's just that you think it's just because it power cycles whenever there's lightning or something, or you?
Well, there could be improvement to the antennas there as well. I really didn't like the way it was set up, as pointing in one direction, but it's just what we did. I'd use an omnidirectional antenna myself.
Gotcha.
And when I was in the building up there, I didn't see any lightning protection whatsoever, any of that equipment. And I believe Ginger had said it'd been struck by lightning twice, is that right, in the past?
So,
And as far as the Zetron system goes, at the 911, I've got a whole storage building full of parts for that to keep it operational.
tell me how the Zetron comes into play. Is that, and that's all about analog to digital, right?
Well, it's got to do with you've got the radio in there, and then you've got a controller, and it ties into the 911 system to control the radio, and the different talk groups and the computer screens and all that stuff's tied into one another. That's how they tone out the fire department, EMS, and all that stuff. It's kind of it's the brain of the 911 system.
How many counties are using the same system that we're using?
Close to here,
Close to.
I
Close
believe.
to.
I know for sure Todd County, Christian County, and in Montgomery County, all the Homeland District 7 is using next edge trunking. Seven counties, it's all interconnected together. I think that's Montgomery, Cheatham, Robertson, Houston, Humphreys, and Stewart.
I've been here 8 years, and this has been a topic for 8 years. The radios have been. I've heard everything under the sun from it won't work, it's outdated, it's the wrong system. They just kind of educate yourself on it. What's the longevity of the site if you think repairs are made, we get 10 more years out of it?
I don't see why not. As long as they keep making parts for it, I guess we can keep it up running
Efficiently.
efficiently. I seen the receive antenna at the Russellville site is leaning up there. Looks like it had tape flying off of it from what I could see from the ground, and that's not good. If it can't receive it, you can't defeat it.
Is all three sites heated and cooled?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who controls the thermostat?
Was it site of Lewisburg that, is it air conditioning?
Yes.
It is a portable unit that we put in there.
Yeah, and so at the Russellville side, it's like you see these little huts that probably have fiber in or something like on the side of the road, It's just, it's what it's made for. And then there's full of HVAC in there. Of course, you wouldn't, that equipment in there, it gets warm, I don't know. I've never ran heat in the server room, but yeah, it's all, and I will say, I went to all of them, but I think what I've been told, I didn't go to the best one. And they were all, I thought, it was a good install. I thought as far as, the environment, I thought it was,
Organized.
I thought it was organized well.
Clean.
I've seen lots, I've seen stuff on, shelves here and shelves there, and little rolly cart over here, a computer sitting there or something, but it was a good install as far as the environment that it's all in. I expected worse, but
well, there was talk too of the Lewisburg site need to be moved. I guess your thoughts on that? Water tower, or move it to a different location? I guess
Anytime you can get it up higher would probably be better. I think, so the frequencies at Lewisburg, the output power in the maximum ERP is very low. It's 50 and 50. And ERP determines the effective rated power of the antenna system. And if it was mine, I would go back to the FCC or the coordinator and ask if we could get more ERP for those channels. Then you could put a little better antenna on there.
you're talking about at the Lewisburg site.
Yeah.
So the FCC's going to regulate what antenna you put up there?
Well, it's not necessarily regulated through that, it's regulated through the power. The bigger antenna, the more gain we have coming out of the antenna. Its efficiency is like if you put a light bulb at one time with power and you put a 50-watt light bulb up there, and you put a 100-watt light bulb up there, and you put a 150-watt light bulb, which one's going to be the brightest? And of course, it's all on the site anyway. Just the, all the technical aspects of the effective rated power of the antenna. I don't know how much power's coming out of it. You have to take it offline to be able to check it.
On your bid for the maintenance and monitoring, how much time would you plan on spending on our sites as far as, visiting the sites and
Well,
where's the money, what would you be putting your time into?
well, as far as putting in the resources, as far as keeping the radio system up 100%, and doing monthly tire inspections. Going to the site, checking the equipment, and whenever the county calls for a call for service, that's included in that. It's probably going to take a lot of hours and a lot of hard work to get back up to where it needs to be.
Okay, any more questions for him now? Or are we ready?
Appreciate you putting the bid in.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wilson. And this time we'll ask Troy to come up front.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Troy Stubbs with BEI Communications. We're responding to the article in the paper in response to the maintenance and monitoring of the radio system. I believe it's the last article that came out, Quest came out, addressed coverage issues too, so that's why our proposal got a little thick. What we're proposing is taking over the radio system from administrative management, monitoring, expansion, and becoming sole responsible, not want to say sole responsible, but taking over the radio system and maintaining it as a system of our own. As some of you know, we have a next edge system in the area. We currently have about 30 sites. One site here in Russellville. We got one Todd, Logan, or Warren, Franklin, that surround the county that have taken over the system. We would add your sites to our sites. That would give you expanded coverage, address the Lewisburg issue of moving that site, probably constructing a new site somewhere in the northern part of Todd, or Logan County, and then adding a Dareville site. And from the last fiscal court meeting, there was kind of got a little gray on whatever we wanted, what was wanted covered. So because the consoles came up, mobiles and portables came up. So I went back and I added what it would cost for us to do the same thing there. Monitor it, maintain it, take responsibility for it, cover it for the time frame in the proposal. So pretty much if there's a radio question in the county, you would come to me. If there's an issue, come to me.
So your proposal only has one, unless I didn't go, I almost got through it. One option of 10 years, right? Was a 10-year option?
Correct.
Okay.
And the reason for the time frame is there's a lot of upfront investment on my part.
Right, I understand that.
Infrastructure and equipment and.
I understand that.
Bud, what happens, so under your proposal, what happens to our current equipment? With the current equipment.
Reservoir Hill will stay where it is, and you guys will maintain ownership of all the equipment that you guys own now. You'll maintain ownership. Reservoir Hill will stay where it is, and you guys will have sole access to it. Lewisburg, your equipment will get moved to the new site, and you know what you guys own. Will get moved to the new site, and we just maintain it, and then I'll expand what I need to expand for coverage and capacity on the other sites.
So in this proposal, if I have a piece of equipment that goes down at one of the sites, whose responsibility is that to
Me.
fix it?
Me.
Even though it's mine? So
Even though it's yours.
If I buy the antenna, I don't know anything about equipment.
Right.
My
Antenna goes-
that goes out, it's
I
my
replace it.
equipment, you replace it.
Correct.
When you replace it, whose equipment is it?
If it was, like Reservoir Hill is still yours.
If we take the Lewisburg antenna, we move it to.
Lewisburg antenna will change. If we get it off that water tank, that antenna will change. That antenna up there is a dual port Omni 9 dB gain antenna. That's about the options you have for water tanks. Due to a trunking system, you have to have separation between the antennas. Those are designed for that, but they're not the best option.
So you moved the Lewisburg site to a new site, and that new site's your site after 10 years, but the equipment's still ours. So if we don't re-up with you, we have to move it somewhere else.
I'm
pretty
sure in
much.
10 years we can work something out so you still use the tower. I'm not
Gotcha.
going to say, And also, at the 10-year mark, it make your system about 18 years old. You're probably hitting about the end of life of the system at that point anyways. Most radio systems, 18 to 20 years old, people are looking to replace them anyways. The technology, I imagine, is going to change at some point. So this keeps you guys up, current, and functioning, at least for, the next 10 years.
So at the end of the 10-year contract under your proposal, even though you may have replaced some of our equipment because it went bad, our contract is up. There's nothing that you're going to pull and say, that's mine. I'm taking that. That is my antenna, that's my wire, that's my Z-Tron
Well,
9000.
this is a
system.
proposal.
Walk out and boom, we don't have a system anymore.
Yeah.
Right, well, no, I'm not gonna do that. I mean, this is a proposal, there's a lot of details, it's very complicated, so when it actually comes down to writing the contract, there's gonna have to be some stipulations that you guys own this, I own this. It gets too complicated, there's gonna be too many questions for me to sit here and write in a proposal and say, you guys get this, I get that.
Yeah.
So my tower, your tower.
I kind of had the same,
I just want to make sure at the end of the
Yeah.
contract, we still have operating.
when I read,
Hopefully everything goes well and you keep
This
continuing
part
on
is
in 10
mine,
years.
that part's yours, and
Yeah.
they won't work because you gotta have my ball to play on your.
Right.
court.
Well, when I read
We
the proposal and I saw lease, that scared me. Because lease to me is like, you still own it, but I'm just borrowing it for a while, So, I mean, lease to own would
If
be,
it happened,
yeah.
the county can't be held hostage in my opinion. We should own and be able to maintain and move, don't, if anything could happen with a vendor, you know what I'm saying? You
Right.
can sell your company to another conglomerate that doesn't want to service us well, and, we decide, hey, you're not performing the contract, and we need to move on, and then we find out where we can't, because a third of the equipment needed to make this whole system work is not ours anymore.
Right, I understand.
We can't, in my opinion, we shouldn't do that.
I think for protection of the county, we should own our own site.
Yeah. No doubt.
I'm not worried about the antenna space. He's gonna put up a
Yeah, I
200-foot
mean-
antenna. He's not gonna take it down, just.
Right, right.
He would.
Once the tower site goes up,
Yeah.
they
he would
usually,
wanna lease it to
usually something,
someone else, but-
they don't come down unless something.
Equipment wise,
Right, but
So
the
it-
equipment that's on that antenna, I think should be ours, so we have a complete system. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So at Lewisburg, where all their equipment is their racks, y'all probably would just unplug everything, take the racks one at a time, take them to the new site and hook it all back up. And you're not going to have to really do anything other than antenna change, right?
Probably antenna change, probably some retuning, 'cause some things will change, but equipment won't change. So it'd probably just be a retuning thing. I mean, it's not a big ordeal as far as, it's not as simple as just pulling the racks out and moving them. It depends on where it goes to and whether some license or frequencies have to change or something, in that order. But it's not, sometimes it's not, sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. It's easy as just unplugging it, pulling a rack out and moving it.
And your proposal also includes the Darrell site, right? No?
Therefore, yes.
Okay, so you'll have to buy all new equipment there,
Correct.
but at the end of the 10 years, that'll be our equipment.
Correct.
Right.
The contract,
we won't own the site and the tower, but all the equipment will be ours, and we'll have an option.
They're going to lease the tower probably from or Bluegrass or AT&T, yeah.
Well, and that was brought up, and it depends. The Lewisburg area was discussed, the Bluegrass site right there in Lewisburg. I ran prop studies on that. That doesn't cover much better than what
We already had.
what you already have, because Lewisburg is like a 200-foot elevation difference than half the current counties around it. You go 5 miles to the east and you go up 200 foot of elevation, and that's why on the proposed or predicted coverage map that I provided in there, that's where that test site is located at.
Out in Homer,
Excuse me?
out in where that test is right there.
Right. That elevation is 200 foot higher than what it is at Lewisburg.
A tornado comes through and takes the whole tower down. Who's responsible?
Me.
Act of God.
The only thing about this is that, where's your proposal for maintenance and what we got? The things that Logan County Fiscal Court will accept proposals on the maintenance and monitoring of the emergency communication radio system. This is option 2 that you're talking about.
That's a hard question to answer.
Okay.
I tried to keep.
I know we
it
put an
simple.
ad in the paper, and that's what the ad in the paper said.
Right, but this is, I think, you have the ad?
Yeah, we have a copy of it.
Yeah, I think it says coverage too, at the bottom of it.
Frozen union, this was the third record check, frozen inspection, research, software, firmware upgrade response, and the coverage issues.
See, I've been maintaining the sites for years. They work for what, as designed, but the coverage is the coverage. You know, it's hard to do one without the other at this point, because I could say, okay, here's the maintenance, but you're going to come back, well, I don't have coverage. Now, whose fault is that? Mine or yours?
Well, it's the initial design of the system.
Excuse me?
The initial design of the system.
Right, and actually, if I recall, the initial design of the system did have a site in Adairville. Just that step of the process has never gotten there.
That's correct, yeah. That was the next phase or whatever.
Let's do that committee deal.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I will ask you, though, on the part that says that you would increase the capacity in Bowling Green and Franklin, what would that, how would that be in play on our overall infrastructure or topology of ours? So if those went away because of some other foreseen issue on that side, what would that do to what we own?
What those sites do cover some of the fringe areas of the county, some of the southeastern corner of the county, northeastern corner of the county, the southwestern corner of the county. At some point, I'll probably put something in northern Todd County that would cover some of that northeastern corner. And even looking up, I got a site, I just happen to decide if I want to put something that's up there just north of Lake Malone that would cover the lake in southeastern Muhlenberg County.
Right.
To cover the Dunmore area and the lake.
Right. So, yeah,
so the capacity is, some of them I already have sites there, but I don't have enough channels there to support the loading that you guys would add to those sites.
But if, say, one of those sites went down, that doesn't affect our overall topology of our system?
No.
We would still operate fine?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe just less coverage in that corner.
Just
of
less
town.
coverage. Just less coverage. Because all it is these sites are repeaters.
Excuse me?
All it is at the sites are just repeaters, right?
Right.
For, you know, if
The
you
same
can't,
thing, if
you can't hit that, you're going to hit the one closest to you, so.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, at my sites are the same thing, same equipment you have at your sites.
Right.
So, you know, all would happen is you would have some reduced coverage until the site came back up.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I think I mean, if y'all are okay with the committee thing, you okay with that, Barry?
I got a question.
Mhm.
So again, we're talking about predictions, and they are what they are,
Right.
But, and I totally understand, you know, what upfront cost for you and your proposal,
Mhm.
and that's the reason it's significantly more, and the contract time is a lot longer. But after that 10-year period, let's say, what would the county be, in your opinion, and again, I guess it would be just an opinion until we put it out to bid, but what would be your prediction? Because your upfront cost has been occurred, and your ROI was put in this 10-year time frame.
Right.
And hey, you know, I had to construct this tower, and I had to construct this, and I had to buy this equipment, and I'm gonna get my money back because I had this 10-year contract. But we go into the next phase and we say, hey, we're gonna bid it again, or this is an essential emergency service, we can direct negotiate with you. What would you predict that the lease would be on the next 10 years?
that's hard to say on the next 10 years.
Right.
Because, you know, that's 10 years
I
away.
understand
I mean, the price,
you're putting up a.
right, I mean, I would imagine the price was,
Three different places.
right, I mean, the price was significantly dropped because at that point, then you're just maintaining and monitoring. There's no, you know, having to address coverage issues.
So we would predict that the next 10 years would be cheaper on us because we've had some.
Right.
Upfront costs like we did 16 years ago.
Well, but like he said, it's going to be an 18-year-old system, so then we're going to be back to where, you know, to replacing it.
I mean, I imagine.
I'm talking about
okay.
rebid all new equipment. Hey, we need new equipment, so let's rebid new equipment. I'm just saying, hey, we're doing this again 10 years from now. This contract up, it's gone, we're rebidding
I mean,
the same thing.
prediction-wise, technology usually doesn't go away once for a long time afterwards, especially now that they got into digital technologies. The equipment's changed. Even the repeaters you have are no longer available. But there's a replacement model for them that do the exact same thing because everything is being software defined now. So I say 10 years or 18 years on the system. People aren't getting to the end of the life of their digital systems yet because most of them only went in around 2011, 2013 timeframe. So with everything being software defined, your system, you could be functioning on a next-day system for the next 20, 30 years. You know, it's hard to say at this point because nobody knows what to expect the life of what the technology is going to be in 10 years. You know, I was asked about radios working on cell phones, cell phone towers. That technology is already here. I don't think it's a solid technology. Definitely I wouldn't rely on public safety on a day-to-day operations for. But in 10 years, that might be what the technology is. That might be what everybody's gone to.
10 years is a long time for me on a lease. That's just for my personal opinion. 10 years is a long time for me. But we might could fix that with some options. You know, if you can do 5 years, and I forget what they're called. You can do 5 years with 5 voluntary extensions. You know, or a buyout option of what we owe for. I don't know. I just feel like the added sites. I wish we'd already knew what it cost to add the Darrellville site and to move the Lewisburg site.
I quoted the Darrellville site 3 times.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whether it's you guys or not, I don't. You know.
I don't. I wasn't on court. It wasn't us. Okay.
It's not in this proposal, but it was under previous administration.
Well, we're talking about 10 years. I don't think anybody here knows what's going to happen in 10 years.
Right.
In fact, this equipment we're talking about now in 10 years now could all be obsolete.
Some of it is today.
I mean, the way they're improving things everywhere.
Right. I mean, the equipment you guys bought 8 years ago, the repeaters themselves. I mean, due to the way the technology is going, they ran into a memory issue in them. So there's an upgraded model that does the exact same thing. It's all software defined. So I can bring a brand new one, stick it in your system, and it'll work. And I imagine in moving to the future, it'll be the same way. Same way with your, no different than your cell phones. Every 2 years, they're different, but your old one still works.
As far as Next Edge goes, I don't think that's going anywhere. As far
I don't think that's
just
going.
The method or
right.
More digital in depth, I would think. Than
right. And that's kind of what happened. You guys have a Gen 1 system, which came out in 2007, 2008. 2016 or so, they came out with the second generation system, which added tons of functionality to the systems themselves and controls of the system. So, that line of product line, it is being improved upon functionality wise and everything else as far as, I don't think it's going to go anywhere anytime soon.
I just think we need to get a professional company that's in business to do this type of thing. Obviously, we don't understand it, and that's no fault of anybody sitting here. It's not what we're hired to do. And I know it's a big investment, but it is, it is step one for public service, that all the our first responders and sheriffs and 911 centers are able to communicate. And when somebody sits there and says, y'all are spending $100,000 a year, to maintain equipment, I proudly would say yes, And, so anyhow, I trust the committee will dig into it real deep and make a pretty decision. And if we have two good proposals here, even though, they're a little bit different, we need to get somebody in there that's responsible, who owns it. When whoever we hire, when something ain't working right, when Ginger and the sheriff comes and is complaining about it, somebody's fixing to get their ear pulled. Really wrong.
Honestly, I get it now, and what you pay for half the time.
But when you pay somebody, it's a little easier to complain, right?
Right.
Somebody hires me to do something, they got to complain. It's a little easier to take when you getting paid for that. And so we want to make sure that somebody, at least that's my mentality. It's now it's your responsibility to own that system, and it's the part of it, And if there's something that we need to do, again, there's parts of that I understand will be your responsibility. I'm just sitting here thinking about phasing from Gen 1 to Gen 2. Why do we wait until that's just obsolete and you got to rely on parts out of somebody's spare?
Right, Gen 1's not obsolete. You could still buy a Gen 1 system. What Gen 2 does, what it did for us, and the reason we went that way is we were hitting the way we were licensed under Gen 1, and you had a long ways to go under Gen 1. We could only do 30 sites. I'm at 30 sites today, and I'm already looking at adding other sites in other parts of the state, in other states. So I had to do something because at worst case or best case scenario, I could only do 48 sites with Gen 1. So we went Gen 2, which gives us that 1,152 site.
Not an issue for Logan County.
Yeah, not an issue. If you guys were doing it all over again, I would put you a Gen 1 system because that's all you would need. If you have to put 30 or 48 sites up in the county, you have a serious, either big county or a seriously poor design. So.
I got it. Okay. That's all the questions I have.
Okay,
Appoint the committee.
this time, if Jason and Tyler Perry want to take the appointment of committee, I need that, I guess, approved in court.
I'll make that in form of a motion that Tyler, Davenport, Barry Wright, Jason Arthur,
Along with Ginger and the sheriff.
have a committee to look at communication proposals that have been presented today from Wilson and meet with the vendors and ask them questions as they see fit. Put that in the form of a motion, Judge.
Do we have a second?
Mr. Cal.
He may not want. I'll second it.
Okay, got a second? Okay, is there any questions? If not, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, we got to give the people out there in radio land some kind of idea of when we'll be back if we're going to go ahead and do this now. Do y'all think 30 minutes?
That's
That's a fair amount. 11 o'clock.
Okay, we're going to take a recess from court for about 30 minutes to allow the radio committee to get into more depth questions that they might Okay, we'll go ahead and call court back to session. And we had a committee to go talk to the two people that made proposals this morning. Is there any, does the committee want to bring anything to the table at this time?
No, this is a lot to, like we've talked, this is something that's new to all of us, and I think it's important for us to kind of really dig in this and figure out what we need to do. So, and we talked to both the vendors, and both the vendors, we appreciate the bids you put in, and but as a committee, I think we, being as that it's something new, something important, we want to dig a little deeper. We want to analyze both options a little more, and so I believe it'd be the committee's recommendation that we table this for now, and to a later day. I don't know if next meeting or next. I'm not sure if we need to say when, but as far as the committee is concerned, I think we just recommend that we table this today, and we're going to meet again with Steve and Ginger, and just make sure what we're doing is the thing we need to do. Because at the end of the day, like Thomas said, all day long, I don't care to say that we invested X amount of dollars into the infrastructure of our radios, because it is a very important public service, and we need to make sure we get it right. So.
Okay, so you're making a motion that this be tabled to a later meeting or a special call meeting?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion was made by Tyler and second by Jason. The table, the decision on this, till further studies can be made and further questions, and the committee can meet again at the time too. And I expected that. And I think that probably both bidders, or both proposal people probably expected it too, so, because this is a big choice for the county. With that being said, there was no other questions. We'll have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Logan,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, maybe we'll come to a conclusion on this soon. Okay, next item of business is to approve the additions and deletions to the Logan County Fiscal Court Capital Asset Schedule for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2020, as required by the Auditor of Public Accountants, and y'all should have that list in your folder.
Missing something. Oh, here it is. Oh, it's the big long piece of paper.
I'll make a motion to approve the additions and deletions to the Logan County Fiscal Court Capital Asset Schedule for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2020.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and second. Are there any questions?
Unison.
Okay, if not, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Logan,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, next item of business, I don't know, Steve, I'll need your, but remove from surplus a 2013 Dodge Charger van number 2C3 CDXA T3DH7130046 from the Sheriff's Department.
Okay.
That would have to go was, it got put on the surplus list by mistake. So I needed to get put back on our list.
Oh,
That's what I was trying to, I don't understand.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
gotta edit that.
Yeah, it needs to go back into our inventory. It was put on there by mistake. It was my fault. I had a whole list of all the vehicles, and I was trying to decipher, and I got mixed up on that one. We're still using that vehicle.
That's the one I wanted.
Hey, we
That's what everybody said.
All right, I'll make a motion to remove the 2013 Dodge Charger VIN number as stated on here from the surplus for the sheriff's department.
Second. Hey, we gotta keep these cars, we can't get brake pads.
Yeah, I can't get brake pads. I'm gonna get them all back.
There you go.
That, y'all heard the motion, and we had a second, I think, by Tyler, didn't we? To remove this vehicle from surplus. Is there any questions? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Wright. Yes. Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Logan,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, next item of business, each one of you in your folder should have a public library annual report of the Logan County Library. We just need to acknowledge receipt of this Logan County Public Library 2020 annual report.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and second to acknowledge that report. Any question? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Logan,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, next item of business is approve the annual contribution of $500 to Agape Toy for Tots, and approve payment.
I make the motion.
Absolutely.
Okay, we had a motion, second by Robert, or Robert made the motion, second by Barry, to approve this contribution.
Is the
Any question?
Is the $500 amount already in the budget? Is that
Yeah,
the set
that's
amount?
what we normally,
Okay.
yeah.
I know this year's a little different for them not be able to do the breakfast and stuff, so I didn't know.
Okay,
Pitch in another 500.
Be good. Yeah.
okay, is there any more questions? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Logan,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, is, any post agenda?
I do, sorry y'all, I know it's been a long meeting, but I do have a question or maybe something we can get an answer to. I had somebody in my district have an issue with maybe some stray dogs or something getting to their livestock, and which, you know, is a huge loss to someone in the livestock business, you know, if it did injure enough of their livestock to where they had some loss. So, but what I was asked was about, I guess, our responsibility as if they were told that you have to have 3 complaints against one dog before Humane Society will investigate and see about, you know, getting the dog and getting it back to its owner or something to investigate what's going on. To me, I think if it's in regards, if someone that's in the livestock business or a farmer calls Humane Society and says there is a stray animal that's being vicious towards my cattle, which is their, you know, their livelihood, why do they not go and check on that immediately, would be my question. Do y'all know of a...
I don't know where they got that answer. I'd have to check.
But is our contract or anything say there's only, you have to have 3 times?
Nothing like that's in our contract. That just may be just an unwritten rule of the
Okay.
Humane Society or something.
Gotcha.
Have you talked to?
I haven't yet. I just got the call last night.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's probably just an unwritten rule that she's let her ACO officers know, you know, it's.
Was this call about a week and a half ago?
I just got the call last night, but I think that's probably when it happened. You probably...
Okay, I knew a little bit about one situation out there.
Yeah.
In your area,
Yep.
dealing with, more or less, kegs.
Right,
Yeah, okay.
right. But anyway, he made the call that, hey, you know, he didn't want to have to do anything to the dog, and I don't want him to have to. But he made the call to the Humane Society, and they said he had to have, we can't come because we got to have three complaints before we can come do anything.
Okay, now, did he get that from the Humane Society, or did he get it when he made the first call?
I think he got that from the Humane Society.
Okay.
I just think maybe we ought to get a more,
Okay, I think that's something Jason can check into for us.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull the contract up just to.
Always encourage your constituents to make that complaint, not to the Humane Society, but to the recording line at the emergency communications operations. That way, it's documented. That's what I always tell people. That way, if they say, you know, well, I've called 3 times, and they say, well, we don't have any record of it, you know, or he said, get in that he said, she said business. If you call the EOC and say, hey, Thomas Bolden, I live at, you know, XYZ, Franklin Road, and, you know, I got the neighbor's dog over here running my cows. It's documented. It's not, you know, well, I called the Humane Society, and then the Humane Society has no record of it, because they don't do that. They, or maybe they don't do it all the time. So I always tell them call there.
I don't know that they didn't, but I'll check, but I don't know that they didn't, and then maybe they were told to call Humane Society.
That's what I was told. I'd hang up, and I'd call again, and then I'd hang up, and I'd call again, and there's my 3 complaints.
Yep.
So some dog comes over there destroying my animals, we got a problem. You know, so.
So, you know, now it's,
That's what I do. That's the policy. So I hang up, call again, hang up, call again, and there's your 3 reported offense, gonna get this dog, or he's fixing to be in trouble.
right, well, and that's,
You can't have wild dogs running through livestock.
I didn't know we call Stockman, I just shot him.
oh, Lord, okay.
I hope you didn't say that too loud in that speaker, you'll be recorded.
Well, that's what I don't want to happen, so, because that's what's probably going to happen, so if our Humane Society would respond, you know, to something that, on
Is it
a,
a stray dog?
no,
It's somebody's
No,
dog?
it's somebody's
That's
dog.
where you really get into the issue.
right, right.
Is this, because you get one side or the other.
It's straight to him.
Neighbors that ain't getting
Yeah.
along. Half the time, that's what it is. And the dog's caught in the middle. You
Yeah.
know, it's 2 neighbors, two humans who can't get along. And it comes a dog fight, and the dog ends up getting killed or dispatched or
Right.
whatever. And it's really 2 non-neighbors who can't get along.
Right. Well, and I think the situation may have been to where they said, hey, please make sure your animal's put up on your property. They don't need to be coming to where my cattle are or my calves, or it's not going to be good. So that's what we want to avoid. We don't want somebody's dog to get shot. So if the Humane Society would respond maybe differently on those situations, a little different. It's a discussion that we might need to have with them. I just wanted to bring it up that, you know, it would, you know, keep from calves from being damaged and destroyed, you know, having to be put down, and it would also keep and a dog from getting shot by harm. So.
What is that non-emergency number, 494? But it is recorded, right?
Yes.
4911.
Yeah, we'll get a complete CAD on that, Thomas, it's got the person that calls, their address, the address of, or the, talking about the dog, you know, description of the dog.
Pretty sure.
And it's came in handy.
Doesn't state that.
They're responsible for straight, for the pickup and over the straight animals. If that's the case, then the third time the charm was just BS.
And you chose not to do anything to it, we picked it up, and, you know, so, I always have to call that number.
All right, well, that's all I have.
Okay, any other post agenda? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second. Is there any questions? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes. Don't forget, we got an insurance committee meeting right after